Coach, I always love having the opportunity to visit with Varun Ram because it's taken me about 2 years to pronounce neurobiology and physiology as his majors at the University of Maryland. You talk about a guy who's contributed to your team in more ways than one, both athletically and academically. It's Varun Ram.
Yeah, he's a special young man. Never asked me to miss class or to miss practice for class, and he gets his homework done. And now he's getting late in his career. Classes interfere with practice a little bit because he's just got to get his classes in. But like you said, he's helped us in a variety of ways. Great kid, happy for him. He's gotten in some games over his career and really helped us. But where he really makes a mark is in practice. He brings it every day, plays hard, and he's allowed to foul mellow every day and make him tougher, and he does a great job with that.
And Varun came to Maryland from up at Trinity University, Trinity College, went to high school at River Hill, grew up in Clarksville, Maryland. Had you always had your eye thinking about, even though you went to Trinity then transferred here, about maybe playing at Maryland someday?
That's funny because people, I kind of did, but I kept it to myself because if I would have told people, they would have laughed at me. So, in my head, I'd always loved Maryland and wanted to come here, but I kind of kept it to myself just so I wouldn't get laughed at.
When you played at River Hill, you were the captain of that basketball team. Pretty good teams up there.
Yeah, we've always had a good team at River Hill. I had a good 4 years there. Played varsity for 3 years. And
who was your coach?
Matthew Graves.
Oh, yeah.
They have a pretty good team right now. I know they have a talented kid in Charlie, who's committed to Wisconsin. It's definitely an underrated league in Howard County, I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think you're also an inspiration for those of us who aren't 6'5" and 6'6", to go out there and be able to compete at this level. When you were thinking of maybe moving back to this area and coming to Maryland, what was the key to you coming to school here and then also to walking on? How'd that all come about?
It was kind of a long story, but, I talked to my family and we decided it was a better decision to come home, mainly academically, to come back to Maryland, closer to home and pay in-state tuition. I love basketball. I've been playing my whole life at a pretty good level, the AAU circuit. I just continued to work out over the summer prior to coming to Maryland. And I said, I knew even if I wasn't going to get a tryout, I was going to, work as hard as I could, just so, I knew I did everything in my power to try to make the team.
And in 2012, you did make this team.
Yeah, and then, that's probably one of the most memorable experiences of my life. I still remember when I got the email that Maryland basketball wanted to add me to the roster, and I just lost it.
You told me the other day we were talking for a pregame interview. Take us through the procedure, the scenario of you getting the call, and you were kind of like, are you kidding me? I can go pick out stuff to wear? And
wait, what do you mean on the
when Coach Turgeon said you've made it, you walked
on?
Yeah,
no, it's funny. It's because I didn't really know. I just kept showing up to practice every day until they never told me I couldn't come. So I just kept showing up, and then I got the email, and then after practice one day, Coach announced to the team that I was officially on the roster, and it felt good because everybody seemed pretty happy for me.
Yeah, well, the first thing I said is don't screw it up. Don't screw up practice for me. So I put a lot of pressure on him right there. But he worked so hard, and the guys liked him. And so one day after practice, said, Varun's official member of this team now, and they were really happy.
What catches your eye about a guy like Varun to walk on? There has to be something that that triggers that this guy belongs on our team.
Well, it's just he's a really smart player. You want guys that are going to understand how to play, easy to coach. And then you want to make sure that he gets along and he doesn't, Varun wants to play, and he has played, but he doesn't wear it on his sleeve. Some kids think that they're walk-ons, think they're better than the guys that are on scholarship, and they think they should be playing. But we've been very fortunate here that we have a group of guys that just want to make our team better and be a part of something special, and Varun's kind of had that approach from day one. We have a lot more to talk about with Varun Ram after we take time out for a couple of messages. We'll continue with Varun Ram and the Mark Turgeon Radio Show. Is Varun Ram from
Clarksville, Maryland, a senior, 5'9", 155, and every time he comes at a game, he creates havoc. And when you came in against Penn State, we're looking at the look on DJ Newbill's face, Varun, because you were going to drive him nuts.
No, I like to pride myself on, getting under people's skin. I try to do that to Melo every day at practice, and I hope it makes him better. But I don't know if a lot of guys are used to people guarding them, as closely as I do. So I like to surprise guys when I come to the game and really get under their skin.
You know, Coach, of all the games he's played this year, he's played 14 for you. Probably the game that stands out to me the most was the Iowa game when he had 3 steals.
Yeah, he was terrific and gave us a chance. We were down like 19, and we cut it to 12 when he was in there, and we went back door and had a chance to get a layup. But yeah, he was great, and I think our whole team and our whole coaching staff has a tremendous amount of confidence in Varun. And sometimes you make a decision as a coach that this is who you're going to go with. We're going to go with these guys, and this is what we're going to do. But if something ever happened to these guys, we know Varun could fill in and do a great job for us, and because he brings it every day in practice. And he never practices with the first team, but I'm not afraid to put him in. He knows exactly what he's supposed to do. So tremendous defender, makes us better. And every year the new guys have to get used to him because he's just in them, and they all start shoving him and pushing him off. And you see it in the game. The guys do the same thing because he's just constantly right up on them.
Varun, you got to talk about, people don't really understand maybe or realize the mental toughness you have to play at this level, and also the mentality you have to have in practice, because when you go from one game to the other game, learning the other team's plays, and you were telling me a couple of weeks ago about sometimes they kind of, wait a minute, didn't we do this last? And you have to kind of close things in a little bit to realize who you're playing next.
Yeah, because the assistant coaches are great with their scouts. They do a really thorough job with the team, and as a scout team player, you have to learn their plays, and you take pride in wanting to give the starters a good look of what they're going to see in the game. So you really try to dial in and get those plays, but at the same time, Coach Turgeon's doing a great job of trying to change our offense and make sure putting in new plays, make sure we're executing at a high level. So you also try to learn those too, and it's fun, but it's definitely challenging.
How much time? You guys take pride too. The guys that have that practice unit, you take pride in making sure the other guys know you're pretty darn good, each one of you.
Yeah. We always play with a chip on our shoulder.
Sure.
That's kind of, I feel like, how you have to be as a scout team player to compete.
When you we talk about this a lot, about the continuity of a basketball team and the camaraderie from the outside looking in. Maybe you can talk about the cohesiveness of this team this year. It's a very special unit, evidenced by the record 21-5 and what you're doing so far in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think it all goes back to day one when Coach Turgeon put in the we will mentality, and like it's a we will, it's not I will, so everybody knows that. The sum is greater than the individual parts. So, we all try to just contribute what we can, but we know that we'll be our best when everybody's, contributing to the greater unit.
All right, toughest guy that you have to work with in practice, the most physical guy in this basketball team. I know what you're going to say.
So 2 questions or
one question?
One question. I got to go with Melo. He's probably one of the best players I've ever had to guard, and it's an honor to get to go against him every single day.
The guy you see most likely from this team to go on to the NBA?
I'd have to go with Jake Layman. He's so long, such a unique player. You can't really teach what he has. Such a great shooter, great attitude.
Guy who may be the most successful guy when he doesn't go on to play basketball after Maryland.
Yeah, that's
Varun.
easy. Jake.
I mean, outside of yourself.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of Jake Suskin. He's
Jake.
got a business mentality, and
Yeah.
I can see him being successful outside of basketball.
Who's the guy that's the funniest guy on this team?
Spencer. Spencer, definitely Spencer.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
He's a goofball.
I'd have never guessed Spencer
Yeah.
Barr.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
goofy.
I'll be darned. Let me ask you about your major now, double major, neurobiology and physiology. At what point did you say, this is what I'm going to major, I'm going to go this direction?
Yeah, I've always loved biology, and when I saw that offered at Maryland, I was like, I got to do this, and I've enjoyed it ever since.
So it leads to med school eventually.
Eventually, you know, that's definitely an option. Not 100% sure.
These smart guys, they
do.
can never figure out what they want to do. He wants to be a lawyer. He wants to be a doctor.
Take it
Yeah,
easy.
I try to keep my options open as long as I can.
Tell them what you're thinking. I mean, you got a lot on your plate.
Yeah. So either you know, medicine, or you know, I'm also looking into, you know, consulting, maybe in like the public health sector. You know, it's hard to know exactly because I've never had time for internships. You know, summers have been spent playing basketball, which I've been so fortunate to do. But you know, it also takes away from, you know, career planning. But I've definitely been, you know, looking at consulting and the business aspect of careers as well.
You don't have to worry about Varun being successful, do you, Coach? Whatever he does.
No, I feel really good about all the players I have
Sure.
on my team. That some are going to be more successful than others, but I think they all have a good head on their shoulders. Going to get a great education, and just by, you know, we talk about it. We don't always just talk about basketball. We talk about real world and life, and I feel great about everybody we have on our team, that they're going to have a good life ahead of them. That's a good feeling as a coach. That's what you want for your players, you know, that they're going to be successful after basketball.
Yeah. Is it going by fast for you?
Oh my God, so fast. So fast. I want it to last longer.
I know.
So just trying to take it day by day and really, really enjoy it, because when it's gone, you know, Coach always says it's the best time of your life. So
Yeah.
just really want to
Before I
enjoy
let
it.
you go, I got to ask you about your sister. She went to Johns Hopkins, right?
Yeah, she's currently in her second year of medical school at Johns Hopkins. You know, definitely a role model for me. She works really hard. We like to tell each other, like, we're not really, as a family, we're not really that smart. We just work really, really hard, and that's what we pride ourselves on.
And it pays off, too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How about you had mentioned earlier about joining the Indian national team. Is that still on your radar?
Yeah, no, that's always you know, been a dream of mine. You know, to represent your home country would be an honor. But you know, with the rules that they have now, you have to be an Indian citizen. So I would have to give up my American citizenship, and you know, that's kind of tough to do right now. But you know, I've talked to the coach a few times, and you know, it's something that if that rule changes, then I feel like I would be a competitive player.
Tell them about what you did this summer.
Yeah, so this summer I went to India with a nonprofit group called Crossover India, and we had a camp for 400 you know, impoverished kids in India that aren't really exposed to things outside of academics and working and you know, on the small farms that their parents have. The parents are, you know, trying to make a living, working 4 or 5 jobs, and you know, these kids don't have that much. So we went there and really tried to make an impact on them, not just with basketball. It wasn't about, you know, finding the next Michael Jordan. It was about, you know, giving these kids hope and, you know, trying to keep them in school longer and you know, just get them, you know, excited about something else besides.
An eye-opening experience for you,
Right,
wasn't it?
no,
I'm
definitely.
Sure. You never forget
Definitely.
that.
No, it's very humbling to go and see what other, you know, go to different countries and see what they have versus what we have. And, you know, it makes you grateful for the life that you have.
It is great to have you in this basketball team. Believe
Thank
me.
you so much.
Okay, always a
Appreciate it.
pleasure to visit with you, Varun.
Thank
You're
you, Varun.
welcome anytime.
Thank you. Thanks for
Varun
having me.
Rom from the Maryland basketball team, and happy to have you with us tonight on this snowy Monday night in the Mark Turgeon.